So up to 1990 in the UK, a local taxation existed by the name of rates. However, under Margaret Thatcher, the Tories wished to replace it with what they officially called the community charge, or more popularly known as the poll tax. The policy of replacing the rates with a new breed of tax was something that Thatcher had been pushing since 1974 and became a core position within the party after she won the election in 1979. However, the poll tax was deeply unpopular as it hit the poorest in society worst. And when I say unpopular, I mean really unpopular. Riots and other forms of civil unrest and protests ensued, with the largest protest taking place on the 31st of March in 1990. It resulted in 113 people injured and 339 arrests. The political consequences were also quite dire for the Conservative Party. They were looking at a general election in about 2 years' time, and the poll tax, which was their flagship policy, was of course deeply unpopular. The Labour leader at the time called for its abolition, making him more and more popular. So to cut a long story short, Margaret Thatcher, the UK's first female Prime Minister, someone both feared and respected across the country, was forced out. The Tories threw her under a bus and she resigned. This was unprecedented. So how does this relate to Boris Johnson? Well, Boris Johnson a few days ago introduced new rules for families and individuals when it comes to meeting during the pandemic. The rule of 6, meaning that gatherings for non-work or non-COVID secure areas are limited to 6 people. This is extremely unpopular. The government are in a way shooting themselves in the foot over this. They have been limping from crisis to crisis over this pandemic, be it PPE, the lockdown, the quarantine. People who have supported the government since the beginning are now starting to question whether they can take this extra imposition upon their lives. Let me be straight with you. I think the government needs to take measures to ensure public safety, but I think the general public are starting to suffer pandemic fatigue. The public have been told one thing when the government and ministers do another. Recently, Boris Johnson attended a Tory meeting where there were 50 people present, when the rules stipulated only 29. Also, the fiasco surrounding Dominic Cummings has turned the public against the Prime Minister. The message from the government is also, go to work, but don't meet friends and family. This runs the risk of alienating more and more people. We have seen protests around the country. Now, these protests were from fringe elements, but the more the government are seen to be taking draconian measures, the more support these types of protests will receive. Boris Johnson is extremely unpopular with Tory and non-Tory voters when it comes to the pandemic, so his attempt to revive Brexit is seen as some type of distraction. However, you can't play this game forever. So, do you think that Boris Johnson is going too far, and will this be his poll tax moment? Let me know in the comments. Thanks a lot. I want to say a big thank you to all of my patrons. You ensure that this channel continues to exist. I'm eternally grateful for all of your support. If you join Patreon, you will receive instant access to our Discord server, where we have both audio and video chats. You can chat with me and other patrons, where we discuss important and non-important issues. Becoming a patron per month costs about the same as a large coffee, so why not check it out?